Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Martin Rodriguez. I'm going to be doing, actually, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of how to do or how to achieve a step line bob with using the back combing technique. Okay. Hey, Robert. Good morning. How you guys doing out there? I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's safe. So give me just a couple of minutes, though. I want to see how many people come online, and I can start. But what I believe is the number one thing, it's the most important in hair cutting, is your parting. Mr. Alan Benfield Bush. How you doing, amigo? Okay. How are things doing with you? Good? Hope so. Hope you're staying safe out there. Let me get back to the cutting. I have ADD, so I have to think about what I have to say. So 90% of cutting is your parting and deciding what you're trying to achieve. Okay, what method are you going to be using? What types of combs? If you're going to be using, especially in each individual cut, because they're all different. Using the flats and rounds of the head. If you're trying to create volume, or if you're trying to create a haircut that's not going to give you as much volume in some areas. And that's where the rounds and flats come in. Robert, let me read this. Just checking, I won't be staying. Thank you so much, Robert. I appreciate it. I'm always doing my thing. Lately, I'm doing my thing quite a bit because we're stuck inside, right? So, this is actually, I'm gonna tell you guys what this is. I'm in a shed. I have a shed in the back. That's it's a pretty good sized shed. And this is where we keep all our extra hair product. Hola, Lupita. So what I've done is you can notice that I put all this white paper behind here. So all the shelves back here, this is all our spare product that we use because we do sell quite a bit of product. And I've decided to take this area and turn it into my little work area so I can share some information with you guys. So, esas personas que están hablando español, que hablan español, lo que estoy haciendo, estamos en un lugar aquí, no estamos en el salón. Vamos a dar un poco de información como darle una graduación a un corte de cabello que se llaman los bobs. Y vamos a usar una técnica de peinar para atrás con tijera. Okay? So anyway, I had to translate that because I had some people that made some comments. Hey, Marta, how are you? So they made some comments that they didn't understand English because they're watching from other parts of the world. Okay, so in all fairness, I have to, because they do watch me and they do follow me, I have to give them some information. So 90% of the cutting is your parts. I'm gonna move this away so we can go ahead and show you guys the parting. So what I've done here is I parted from the back of the ear, de atrás del oído, al atrás del oído, okay? And voy a empezar aquí. Lo que pasa que este es el nape. Esta parte, this is the nape here. This is gonna be, no matter what you do, you guys, no matter how much volume you try to get out of this, it's not gonna give you any volume. Here's why. Because of the curvature of the head, this always lays flat. So that's why we see a lot of step bobs or a lot of cuts that end up or start right through here. Okay, if you comb this flat, so all the way flat, it's not really going to lay 100% flat. Why? Because of the way that hair falls naturally. So I'm going to start my cut there, and I have it parted. A lot of times people will do a diagonal partings, but for this I'm going to be doing it straight across. My parts are going to be straight across. It's really important that you choose the right shear and the size of the shear for this. This is a 5-inch shear, okay? And this is my shatter blade, one of my favorites to do my cutting with. And look at the difference of the blade, okay? Versus this. Now I could do this with a blade. If I took my one of my razors, I could cut this with a blade as well, but here's the difference. You're going to get a different effect, okay, depending on which tool you guys choose, okay? cada una de estas le va a dar un corte diferente. Porque cada tijera están hechas diferente. So a lot of people think that, oh, I'm going to get the same look. No, sorry. You're not going to achieve the same look using a razor and a blade. You're going to get two different things. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and use this here, and I'm going to start right in the center. And you're going to take, you can go from a 1/4 inch or less. Now, if I start here, and if I bring all this hair to the center, okay, this is going to remain long. But if I follow and I move my body each time, I'm going to be tucking that hair in all the way around, okay? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start in the center, and I'm going to comb that directly away from the scalp, making sure you put enough tension on there. And I'm going to cut and push back, cut and push back. I want that to be pretty short. And I'm not going to worry too much about the rest of the bottom there. Now I moved over to the right a little bit, taking smaller sections. And next section. Can you guys see that all right? So I'm moving away into each part that I'm cutting. Now, if you guys don't feel that you're stable enough, the finger, you can put a finger there, okay? And that would help you. So you get used to doing this. Don't worry about the little hairs that are down here at the bottom, okay? Those you can always go back in there and do last. Just move with it and take your time. So what I'm actually doing here, I'm cutting and I'm pushing. I'm cutting and I'm pushing. I'm cutting and pushing. So comb that down. Next section. Cut it directly from where it lives. Sometimes you'll miss some of those, but like I said, don't worry about it, because at the end you can go back in there and fix that. So this is what you're getting. You're getting that effect. Look at the difference, okay? You're getting that effect, and at the end, we can go back in there and clean that up. So don't worry about that, like I said, okay? Let me see what anybody's saying. Let's see, Helen, Anthony. Hey, Anthony DeFalco's watching. So anyway, let me continue to this side. So now I'm going to go to this other side, and I'm going to comb that hair. Now because I'm right-handed, look, I have to comb it from the top this time. But at the same time, I got to make sure that I'm able to control that hair. So don't take too much hair out, okay? And you're going to cut and move over to the next section. And because this actually gets in the way, so you have to be a little bit careful. And just imagine if you have a client there with her shoulders and they want to go short. So you have to make sure, most of the time with the shear right now, I'm using, let me show you guys right now. Give me a second. I'm using about this part of the shear to cut. I'm not really getting down here right now. Why? Because if I was to do that, my hand actually hits here, okay? My hand hits here, so I have to use that 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of the shear to do that back combing technique. So I'm just taking my time with this. So then you'll have all this towards the bottom, okay? You'll have all that towards the bottom that you can clean up last. Don't worry about that. And then now I'm gonna drop down no more than 1/2 inch. I'm taking no more than 1/2 inch of hair. this doll head's been through hell, I'll tell you. She's been bleached out, she's been colored. This hair is actually pretty fried, so it doesn't really matter because I can, you know, that's why I keep my doll heads around. I'll go back to the center. Now this is where I start to really, okay, keep my angle here at a 45. Why? If I think about this for a minute. If you cut hair at a 45, does it really stay at a 45? No. Where's it gonna fall? Okay? Cutting hair at a 45 falls to half of 45, which is what, 23 and a half? So just because you're cutting hair at a 45, it doesn't gonna stay at a 45. It's gonna have to drop. So this has to drop half the distance. So if I'm cutting at a 45, okay, it's gonna drop half the distance of that. It will not fall at a 45. Sorry, okay? But that's the truth. So I'm just continuing this. Moving along. And this just, you know, it does take practice to do this. And I recommend that if you're gonna practice this, practice it with doll heads and take little sections at first till you get used to it. As you get used to it, you can move a little bit quicker, okay? I mean, this is the way that I do my work in the salons. There's no difference with the way that I'm cutting here than me doing it in the salon, to be honest with you, okay? So why would I do something different here and then go back to the shop and do something different there? It's just, that's not the way it is, okay? Not for me anyway. So I need to move over each time that I do this. I want this pretty tight because I want to keep this front long. And I'll just double check all this, making sure that I have that line that I need. I can go back and adjust. Making sure that all my line, I can pick this up all in one. Because I know that a lot of that hair has been already shagged out. So I'm not worried about the sides being identical because I'm gonna go back and clean this, don't forget. Okay, that's up towards the bottom of that. And these doll heads, you know, they're not like clients. Some of them have more hair on one side and some have less. So as you can see here, I'm getting that, okay? I'm getting that hair to turn in, and then I can cut that off at the bottom, okay? So what do you guys think so far? Pretty easy to do, right? Let's see what's going on here. Jeff, let's see, I don't understand that name there. So anyway, we'll continue the same way, bringing that up. And think about it, once you get a little bit quicker with this, it won't take you that much time. What you're actually doing with this cutting method is you're creating texture and shape at the same time, okay? The only thing is you got to make sure that you part that hair in the same line, but like I said, with these doll heads, it's really hard to maintain that parting because they're sewn in. So stand right behind the center of the head, grab your section, and think about, once you start seeing that guideline drop, that's where you start. That's where you start to see it. You start to see that and drop the guide and start your cut. Bring that over, move your body over. So I'm working around the head right now. I'm working around the head. I'm not bringing all that hair towards the center. If I was to bring that hair towards that center, then my sides would definitely be much more angled. But I want this to tuck in. I want it to have its own shape, moved around, okay? Moved around the head. And you see this here, this piece? I'm gonna leave that out. I don't wanna bring that in. I don't wanna cut that out because that's right behind the ear. That, if I cut this, I'm gonna get a hole here. So I'm gonna stop right at that natural separation. You can see it here. Everybody has that, okay? So I'm gonna leave that out and I'm gonna pull this directly so I see my guideline fall. So esto lo voy a dejar hasta el último, okay? If I cut this, I'm gonna have to really over direct this hair a lot, okay? But I would rather wait towards the end. I could probably take a little bit off, but not a whole lot. So I don't want to get a hole there. And that's a lot of times where we make our mistakes, is that we get holes. But you can see this is starting to really, let me see. Let me move that away. You can see that it's starting to really tuck and shape or run through here, okay? You guys see that? So this is not for every client out there, but you want to use it on a client that's got nice texture. It's perfect for someone with wavy hair too, okay? But be careful if you do it on somebody that's got very fine hair. On fine hair, it could be done. You just got to make sure that you choose the right type of fine hair to do it in. Not for everybody. The other thing is that these cuts are they're a lot of fun. They look good, and you could wear these cuts a little bit messier. They're a little bit more sportier. Turning that over, I'm gonna leave that same section out here in front out. So it's starting to go up. Okay, getting that. You can see it from the side how it's starting to tuck in. I'm starting to get that look that I want from there. Can everybody see that? The way that it's trying to really naturally fall? Yes? No? Maybe? Well, how many people do I have on here watching? So how many are you guys doing this technique or trying it? Have you worked on anybody doing it? Taking my next section down. Now, depending on how much hair you guys can work with, but I recommend doing no more than maybe half an inch at a time. That's how much you're dropping. You're not working, don't forget, you're working this way anyway, so half an inch is not a whole lot. I could drop an inch, and that means I just have to work in that area a little bit more. So I'm gonna part that out of the way. Now, her head's tilted, right? Her head's tilted, so what you're gonna do now, when you get right to the first round of the head, okay, right when you get past that, or right above it, you wanna bring that head straighter. Oops, straighter. Let's see if she stays put. So now you have that head a little straighter. Comb the hair down, and you wanna cut the hair right where it lives, don't forget. That's the biggest thing. Now that I have it straight, I can stand right in front of it or on the side slightly and start getting a little longer through here. I want to see how much more do I need to take. So there's my angle. So I am cutting at a 45, but don't forget that it's falling at half the distance. Small section. Move your body to the side. Next section. Cut and push, cut and push, cut and push, cut and push. Or cut and tease. Comb that out, make sure it's combed out, make sure you have no wrinkles in that hair. Okay? Cut and tease. Just move around. I'm actually moving the doll head instead of moving my body because I don't have that much room to go around. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of moving that doll head. Next section. And I'm right-handed, so one side is always easier for us, and the other one's a little bit more difficult. So you have to really make sure that you're pulling the hair in the right direction or combing it out in the right direction. And don't forget, I said I was going to leave this piece out. Okay? Why? Because if I cut this, I'm going to wait till the end, and I'll blend that in. So now I'm going to move over to the other side. Oh, a little bit of wind out here. Cut and push, or cut and tease. You guys see that all right? Sorry if it's taking a little bit of time, but if I wasn't talking, I guess I'd be done with it already, but each section takes time, okay? Don't forget, you are cutting someone's hair and you want this to look right. Leave my front out that I need there. I'm leaving the same amount of hair on both sides right behind the ear, so I don't want to create a hole. Okay? Nobody wants holes in their head. I'm going to double check this. Okay. So far, that's what I'm getting. And then when I go ahead and, finish this, blow it out, I'm gonna blow it all out first, and then I'll cut this at the very end. So I'll do my next section. Drop next section down. Combine those two. So, how you guys doing? Dino, Norma, hey Norma, Dong, how are you? Let's see who else is in here. Kathy. Hey Anthony, I noticed you posted notice on Facebook. I think you're taking students now, right? You turned your salon into part education school. I think that's an awesome idea. So give us some information on there. All right. Thank you so much for doing that. Anthony is over pretty close to my salon in Orange County, and I do know that he's going to be taking on students to help them achieve their license. I think that's awesome. I think that people that can do that, it's really helpful. And I need a haircut. Bad. Maybe I'll cut my own hair right here. So anyway, next section. Let's go back to this. Comb it straight down. These are a lot of fun, these cuts, you guys, but look at the difference. Look how much hair I've cut. And you can see that volume already there. It's naturally creating that volume that you need. Okay? Now, if I was to use, I've been using the fine side of the comb for a little bit more tension. If I start to use the fine side of the comb, I have to stick to that side. If I would have started using the other side where there's less tension, then you should stick with that, because you'll get two different effects if you're combining both sides. A lot of times people don't think about that, but you should really think about, which one are you starting with, okay? Let me take a little bit less hair here. So let me fix the dull head here. There we go. You guys see that all right? So there's my guide. Let it drop. Next section. And just keep on working till you run out of hair on both sides. I love doing this kind of layering technique because you can still go in there and make a lot of adjustments, or you can give clients the volume that they're looking for, that unkept look. I think unkept looks are much flattering to the eye. And think about it, a lot of times clients don't know how to style their hair, so these cuts do help them out quite a bit because it doesn't put that much pressure on someone, okay? It doesn't put that much pressure on someone to be perfect. Now I'm taking that piece that I left from earlier and I'm gonna combine it. But here's the thing. I want you to pull that straight back in case you take too much off. You can always adjust it, okay? And I don't like putting too much pressure on a client when, especially if they're trying to duplicate the look identical to the way that we do it in the salons. It's not going to be, that possible because they're working with their hands this way where we're actually working, moving around, okay? So slightly different for everybody. But why put so much pressure on someone to, make it look identical? They're not going to be able to make it look identical. Even when we style someone's hair, it's going to be hard for us to even make it look identical to last time, unless you kept strict notes. But it also depends on moods, how the hair is that day. There's so many factors behind that, okay? It's not like we're doing roller setting. Roller setting, well, then that's a very structural way of styling hair. But there's so many different ways of doing it. And that's what makes everything the unique that we do. We don't all do the same way. We all have, we could learn from the same person. We can learn from the same person and just have a whole different way that we understood it. Alan was out there, and well, he was on here earlier. I don't know if he's still on there or not, but I'll tell you, when I learned Alan's methods of volumetrics and the difference between concavity and the way that he explains his methods, a lot of people, because it's a method, it's structural, you can go and learn from that, and most everybody does it identical. Why? Because it's a structural method, and it's understanding the volume, understanding the flats and rounds of the head. So that's a structural way. Yesterday I commented that I have a difficult time with very well, there's people that take so much time in cutting because they're very precise. I'm too ADD for that, you guys. Okay, I don't know if any of you feel that way, but I've tried it. I have a difficult time with it. I just don't have the patience. Okay, I have a co-worker that I watch, and she's amazing at doing all the Vidal Sassoon structural cuts. But I just don't have that type of of mine where I can sit there and do that. Okay, so you're getting that shaggy effect. And I still, will go in there and clean that up. But I actually think that kind of looks kind of cool too, though, having a little bit of fringe at the bottom. In the 80s, we used to do a lot of that. We used to, cut all this and leave some fringes through here. And then some people started doing tails and you name it. Okay? It was all, so this is the whole top. Whole top is left. And actually, top, there's a lot of hair here, right? So I'm gonna drop that down and just comb it where it belongs. Let it drop. So how many, I remember in the 80s doing all those little tails on the bottom? There's a lot of people that did those. Let me just make sure that this parting is correct here. So I'm just combing that straight down. Starting off in the back and the center again. Using my fine side of the comb. Now there's a lot of hair here, so I gotta make sure that this gets really combed out good. This doll head has more hair in that area than anywhere else, it seems like. Okay? Find my guide. And cut. Next section. Comb that hair out nice and smoothly. Find my guide. There it is. And cut. You can always go back in there if I miss one or two. Move around. Combing that hair directly where I need it to be. Let the guide fall out and cut. Find the guide and cut. Same thing all the way around. This hair is starting to get a little dry already. I'll have to dampen it just a tad. There's that piece. Pull it slightly back. Move that out of the way. So there's that whole side. And then look at the difference. This hasn't been cut. This side hasn't been cut yet. You just moisten that down a bit. Keep it a little moist so you can control the hair just a tad. This could be done 100% dried, okay? You could do this 100% dry too. Doesn't really matter. The thing with, if you do it 100% dry, it's a little bit more difficult to hold the hair. And if you're starting this off, I would recommend just, dampening the hair just a tad. Don't do it sopping wet because then it's a little bit slippier. Slippier? Slip? It slips more. How's that? Can't even say that word. Slippier. Continue to the other side. Working yourself around it. And just slightly back. There's also little pieces that we miss towards the end there. So that's the back of it. Let's see, take this out. So that's the back of it. You can see that, how it's gonna fall. See that? So let's go to the front there. Let me show you guys. So this is the angle that I'm getting right now. So there's the angle that I'm getting right now. See that? So this has to come up right here. But I like the front. Some people don't want this to be as severely shagged, but you could see the line that I was trying to achieve. Okay? What do you guys think about that? Can you guys see the possibility? So if I want to maintain all this front long, which I do, I don't want to get rid of any of this. Here's what I'm going to do. Okay? I have my part on this side. I want it to go to the left to right. This is the way that I do this. Okay? I'll place my comb and find where my high point is, and I'll part that hair right there. I'm going to part that section off. I'm going to move that out of the way, just like that. Just like that, okay? And I'm going to take this whole section here, and I'm going to pull it straight back. Straight back to this corner. See where this area is? That corner right there. Let me fix this doll head so she doesn't move. So I'm going to take that corner right there. I'm going to grab all this hair and I'm going to pull it direct. I'm standing right behind that area. Right there. Then I'm going to continue my line. So I'll let that drop. And now I removed and gave it a softer line here. After that, I'll blow dry all this. I'm gonna do the other side the same way, okay? I'm not gonna do any cleaning up till I blow dry this, and then I'll go back and finish it off at the very end. So then I'll drop that section here. I'll drop that section there and I'll come over and I'll bring that wrapped around. Or I could leave it, okay? I could leave it towards the very end. Let that drop. And cut. So you can get that nice line, okay? Like that. So what do you guys think so far? Okay, let me know if you guys like that idea. Let me know if you learned anything, because it does help me if you learn something. If you didn't learn, that means I'm not explaining myself properly. Okay, so if you give it a try and you have a couple of questions, you could always send me a message. But you can see that line that I was trying to achieve. There's that line. And the reason that I would blow this out, because I would wait till all this is smoothed out and I can see the difference. So the other side, I'm going to do it the same way. Okay, the other side, I'm going to find my high point. I'm going to part that off. Get that out of the way. And I'm pulling, don't forget, I'm standing in front of the doll head this time just so you can see. I'm pulling all this to this corner, a high point being here. So all this here has to, this is where I would connect it, right there. Except I'd have to stand behind the doll head for me to do that, and pulling that hair right to that corner. Making sure I don't have too much hair. Make sure it's combed directly to that corner. Find my guide, let it fall, and blend. I'll drop my top section that I took out, pull it straight back, right to this corner, See the corner? I'm bringing it back right to there. Because this will help me maintain all my length in the front, and it still gives me the same effect of that shaggy blended look that I want. I'll comb that down. Oh, let me get that doll head back on there. Jeez. And once I blow that out, which I'll do, and I'll come back and I'll show you guys how to, you know, clean all this up through here. So, gives me that sort of effect. So, anyway, that's pretty much, it's not finished though, don't forget, because I have to blow it out and have to come back and clean it up a bit. So let me go ahead and blow dry this out. Those of you, if you get bored with blow drying, that's fine, you can come back and see it. If you want to sit there, and plus it gets kind of noisy too. So well, I'll tell you guys what, I have to go get my blow dryer. I left it inside. I'll come back and I'll do a short video on how to clean that up at the end, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and stop this one for now. I thought I brought my blow dryer out, I didn't. Sorry guys, that's the way it goes. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Give it a try. I'm just trying to make the best of it, okay? If you missed the video, go ahead and watch it from the beginning. And it's actually not that hard to do this. It's a lot of fun. And but look, you get that nice drop. How, you know, a lot of clients want that. If the client wanted it real tight, then I would just cut that off right there so it falls nicely. You get plenty of volume. That because it's being cut from the bottom up, that hair naturally is gonna tuck up. Okay. And I have to be honest, it was one of the hardest haircuts for me to try to do when clients wanted that bob. I mean, there's another way that I do it also. Probably now there's a few different ways that I do it, because it's taken me a lot of years to be able to achieve different looks, because people come in with different ways of wearing those cuts. So it's just practice, you know. Practice. I have a lot of I've seen a lot of people do it in so many different ways, and one of the biggest things about me is that I'll have to try it for myself. And I think till you try something, then you'll figure out as you go, as you learn, as you keep doing things, you know, don't give up, okay? So it's not impossible. We can all learn. Thank you for watching. This is Martin Rodriguez. I'm the founder of Color One Balayage Tools. Have a good day. I'll show you guys the results in a bit. Thank you.